World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kier Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. I hope all is well with everyone. We are, well, the 21st is the first day of summer. So we're just a couple of days away from my favorite time of the year. 21st is the longest. The first day of summer, summer solstice is the longest day in the year and the shortest nights. But June is always a wonderful time. I guess I say that because I have my Juneteenth baby, so June has always been a great time for me because it came right when school was out, so summer vacation started. A lot of good things happened. Father's Day, as I became a father. And we're going to talk a little bit about that briefly because the annual Father's Day Skyscraper Classic is right around the corner. It's on Father's Day. And there are so many different things that are going on. Again, I'm sure many of you have been able to appreciate the joy of the Knicks and their accomplishments and what that did to New York City. It was just great to see so many people from different walks of life coming together on one particular celebration. I've never really, and I've been around for a minute, but I've never seen that type of ongoing celebration. I guess that's what kind of made it special, because this had been going on for a minute as the Knicks started their winning streak, and which was historic, but it also energized so many people. And we probably needed that. I guess a lot of people, and I try not to get political on, well, urbanology, I do get a little political, but nevertheless, especially through WHCR, but many people indicated that the only downside was, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that because that is the past. So we always want to talk about the future and the positive things that are going on. So among the many things that are taking place um, in the next couple of days, there will be a very interesting project that will start uh, again in June 20th. And it's an outdoor farmers market where um, people will be able to obtain produce. And the person who's curating that is my guest this afternoon. And I, you don't always have the opportunity to talk to celebrity chefs because they're between the TV interviews and all of those other things, CBS, and they're always busy. Plus, keeping up, their whole restaurant, mindset and focus. So I was happy and kind of surprised when I saw his name on as the curator of this particular project. But rather than giving you a lot more of my understanding of it, I would like to introduce Chef Russell Jackson, who's a celebrity chef and has, started out, of course, uh, in California on the East Coast. We won't hold that against him, though. He's been in Harlem for about a couple of years. So he's good.
13 now. 13.
But Chief, chef. I'm a chief. We have to talk about the kind of. But Chef, just give the listeners a little background. It would be 3 shows to try to give all of the stuff that you've done, but give some bullet points so they can understand the significance of you heading up this project
Well, it's interesting. So I've been a professional chef for over 49 years now this year.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Look like you must have started when you were 10. You don't look, you wear your age well, brother.
And I've been a journeyman chef. I've trained at a lot of different houses, always fine dining, from fine dining to pizza joints to burger joints. I've worked at all from the top to the bottom. In 1994, I opened my first restaurant called Russell's. That was on La Cienega. It was a top 22 restaurant, a beard nomination restaurant. Then went on to work for Wolfgang Puck at the original Spagos. Later, a few years later, moved to San Francisco to run the James Beard nominated restaurant Black Cat on Broadway in Kearny. Left there and then went private for a while. About 9 years later, I ended up opening Lafitte on the San Francisco waterfront, which again was a highly rated Zagat's restaurant as well as a Michelin nominated restaurant. Closed that after a couple of years, sadly, for the economic downturn and the difficulties that we had, and started working with Food Network. Ended up moving at Food Network's request, and several other corporations ended up moving to New York. And I was just looking for an excuse to end up moving to New York. But it was my family's East Coast. My mom was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. My dad was from Pleasantville, New Jersey, so I spent summers here on the East Coast all the time. So it wasn't foreign to me.
Mm-hmm.
And actually getting a chance to spend time here, and quickly fell in love with the region and the food and the styles. So it was an easy lateral move for me, and ultimately ended up moving to Harlem when I met my soon-to-be wife, and because she lived here, and a lovely little Bulgarian woman who's who's my wife now of on 9 years, coming up on 10.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've got a lovely 7-year-old son, Bowie, who's a nutty little bag of tricks all into himself. My mom used to always say, "I hope you have a son just like you." And yeah, thanks, Mom. Got me good with that one. But so if he pops in, don't be surprised. And obviously, I'm sitting in his room today to talk. But ended up opening oh my God, ended up opening Reverence, which was on 138th and Frederick Douglass. Is sort of a little bespoke tasting menu restaurant, something that I wanted to provide for the neighborhood and for the culture as an amenity to something that I knew that I could provide. And we opened up just a few months before the pandemic, got hit with the pandemic. We sort of turtled up like everybody else did, and started to think about how can we better be of service to the community. So of course, we started feeding people whenever we could, however we could, giving away food, loading up community refrigerators with as much food as we could get. I was taking in products from other restaurateurs like David Chang, who had closed his commissaries and said, "Come and get it." And we were able to distribute food to other operators around in Harlem that we were aligned with, that we knew could use the resources as much as we could. So we were able to do quite a bit of work that way. And then ultimately ended up becoming an advocate for the industry and again for my community, in the respect that I joined One Fair Wage as a board member. I was part of the Aspen Society food and wine system to help them to create the syllabus for and the infrastructure for operations within COVID or during pandemics. Wrote op-eds for the Washington Post, New York Times, things like that. Spoke across the country, a lot on Zoom, of course, and did a lot of charity fundraising during the pandemic, all the whole time, weekly, trying to continue to feed people with a very, very small crew. I had, 3 or 4 people that were ingrained with me, and I respect and appreciate everything that they did do for us, and tried my best to take care of them. And then when we got the chance to finally reopen, we decided that we wanted to continue to push the theoretical side as well as our ability side to create high-end cuisine built around sustainability and upcycling of food to eliminate food waste. So we were working towards a zero waste restaurant, which was quite difficult. It's quite difficult here in New York because it's just not the type of infrastructure that they have overseas. We really wanted to go after a green Michelin star, which of course now no longer exists. But again, continue to get nominations and keep our status on Michelin, which again matters, doesn't matter, however you see it. Again, that idea of how can we best be of support to our community? How can we provide people with knowledge, entertainment, and access? And in 24, Richard Cox offered us that we had started. It's kind of a long, convoluted story, but we had started a product line that really wasn't supposed to be a product line. For the restaurant, we always did a level of fermentation. We made misos, ferments. I ultimately ended up deciding to make my own Tabasco hot sauce because I wanted to my entire career, and I never had the space or the materials and the sources to do it. So I said, let's make one. So we made 2 big hot barrels of cayenne and Tabasco chilies, hot sauce. The farming partner that we were working with, Norwich Meadow Farms at the time, saw me post a picture about it and said, "Hey, what are you going to do with all that?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm going to use it." And they said, "We'll buy it from you. We'll sell it." And I said, "Okay, great." And the next thing you know, I had no more hot sauce, and I realized I have to start making more stuff. So we ended up developing an entire product line built around, again, the sustainability and the operations that we were doing. How do we best utilize their waste, our waste, to make better products, and can we do that through fermentation?
Mm.
So it really worked. We've created a lot of really, really amazing products that we still have today, that I still produce today. I make bread here at home, and my family doesn't eat conventional store-bought bread. Everybody gets sick if they do, which
That's true.
which
So
is difficult.
much of the bread that you buy
Yeah,
is banned in other countries,
right,
unfortunately.
right. And again, you look at the chemical, and I have this conversation all the time, and this leads into the whole program of what we designed and why we built what we built with the new product, the new programs that I'm running, and with the Unity market, which were built around necessity. And I make bread all the time. So what do we do with all those bread scraps? We actually end up making amino acids or soy sauce. We make pistou. We make all of these different things out of our scrap bread.
Interesting.
Really wonderful. And it goes down the line. Like, what do we do with all the vegetable scrap? What do we do with the meat scraps? What do we do with the bones? All of these things, again, we've learned. I've trained and learned how to do, and then taken inspiration from other ferment greats that are out there. Some that I shall leave nameless at this point in time. But they're very talented people that have pushed our industry forward in a way, utilizing technique that's been around since the Egyptian period. So it's the Asian dynasties. It's really amazing to be able to utilize all that information now with modern technology. So with that, Richard Cox comes to me and says, "Hey, would you like to open up a kiosk in the health market that was on
125th Street?
and at the Adam Clayton Powell Federal Plaza there?" And we went in and we thought, okay, it's a great opportunity for us to explain to more of the local community what it is that we really do. Because so many people would walk by the restaurant, "What is this? What do you do? How's the what do you mean?" So for us to be able to, in real time, have people taste our food without anything other than, here's who we are, and here's who's actually cooking the food for you, and here's a sampling of what we make, changed the dynamic, it changed the conversations for us. And we saw greater to what the market could actually be through that 24 season. 25 came along, and sadly, we just couldn't sustain the business models with Reverence and the new restaurant that we were in the process of building with Cali. So they both closed operations and construction in February of 25, which was sad. It's always like, I put 10 years of my life into that building and into that project. So it was really difficult for me to say goodbye to it. I still miss it today dearly. It was a sweet restaurant, a very sweet kitchen that I got to entertain and dance and cook and be myself in. Even the bad days were good days.
You ever think about doing that again? Even though I understand what you have said about the restaurant business, but the passion that I'm hearing makes me feel that that's still something that's in the back of your mind.
Well, it's always in the forefront of my mind, is how can I cook and be of service? That is always the motivation behind what I do. And I had closed the restaurants. I took a little time to sort of lick my wounds and think through, okay, I'm 62 or 61 going on 62. What makes sense for me? I have a 6-year-old that's going to be 7. I've got to pay his tuition. I've got to think about sort of the legacy that I'm leaving him, and the latter half of my career, and what makes sense. And certainly opening another restaurant and trying to go through that entire process wasn't something that I wanted to take on, let alone between just everything that's happening today, and as you know, we all see the difficulties of trying to manage anything from the diesel prices and supply chains and everything else. It's like I just couldn't imagine. My friends that are running restaurants, I pray for them every night. I just can't imagine what the difficulties and the difficult decisions that they're having to make from day to day, how to survive this insanity. So Richard approaches me around the first of the year. I just finished wrapping an experience coming out of 13 years of retirement in food competition on TV, spending a month with Padma Lakshmi and 16 other cutthroat chefs.
That was on CBS.
I was on CBS called America's Culinary Cup. I know you can still stream it because they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
I think it just got nominated for an Emmy last week, which congratulations. I'm sure they're going to win it because it's a fabulous show. They worked very, very hard at trying to create a unique experience, and it was brutal. I mean, within the first day, I realized I'm not cut out for this anymore. I'm too old, and I don't have that fire in my belly anymore. It was an amazing group of people. Like, there wasn't any one of the 16 of us could have won that competition. It was, can you get yourself into this place where you're comfortable in the environment, you're comfortable with the circumstances, and you can cook to your heart's desire in a place that's nutty, and can you really show who you are on a plate every single round after round after round. And ultimately Cara, who won, if I'm spoiling it for anybody, I apologize, not that it's news, was really able to cut through all of it and show and display who she was as a chef, but who she is and how much she loves food and the connectivity between her heart and the dishes. That's what really showed through. And Chris Morgan, who's my buddy from the show, he was able to definitively show that as well, and that's why he was the second runner-up and the guy that eliminated me. So, pretty tough stuff. So I go through that. Richard calls me up, and I'm getting ready for the show to air, and kind of like, what am I going to do with myself? And I started working on a couple of other projects, and Richard says, "Hey, look, Central Park wants to have a conversation with us. Can you be on the phone call?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So I get on the phone, and they said, "Well, we'd really like to hear your plans for doing a farmer's market in Central Park." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, here's what I was thinking. And I basically threw out this idea that we had for the 25 season in Frederick Douglass that got killed. And they loved the idea. And Richard and I sat down and came to some agreements about how we wanted to evolve the overall marketplace so that it was curated, that it exemplified all the theoretical ideas, all the things that we talk about, what we need within the framework of a farmer's market within Upper Manhattan. There are a plethora of farmers markets that exist across the city, and there are a lot of really wonderful farmers and vendors that come through. Some are more swap meaty, some are more EBT or SNAP benefit based, some are just sort of profit models that are built, cobbled together through advertising and put a bunch of people together, and then you've got this and that, and it doesn't really kind of make sense. And again, there are a lot of really wonderful markets. I'm now residing in Washington Heights, and there's a pretty nice little Thursday market that has a couple of farmers that I know that are close by. But again, it's not significant. It's not really built out that way. It just happens to be the place where the farmers park. Mm-hmm. So, when Central Park came to us, they said, "Look, my fear was, well, we're going to be on the street," and they said, no, you're going to be inside the park. So this is the first farmers market inside.
Where is the space actually? Because I'm trying to picture that.
So if you're standing on 110th Street,
Right.
okay, with your back to Harlem,
Right.
right, at Malcolm X,
Northern Harlem is all
northern
Harlem.
Harlem, northern 110th Street North, right?
Mhm.
The red line is directly behind you. The 2-3 is directly behind you. Facing into the park, you've got a road that splits.
Right.
To the right is the access road that leads you over to the new Davis Center, which is
Right.
currently, and
Which
that's
is a
run by
beautiful structure.
beautiful structure, gorgeous. They put a ton of money into it. It's a morphable program that during the summer is a pool, in the spring and fall it's a soccer field, and during the winter it's an ice rink. And it's run by the Department of Education right now for the summer. That allows kids to be able to go and have a place to hang out and go get lunch as well as to swim. And then around to the left side is the entrance to Mirror Lake,
Hmm.
which will have its own activations and concert series and different things like that. But it's a children's playground, and it's one of the locations where my son used to play when he was a toddler all the time. We would walk up and down that block all the time.
Hmm.
We're on the inlet road within inside of Central Park, starting at 110th, and that street is technically Malcolm X. So
How much space will you have?
So we're in the curvature all the way up until the split where the Davis Center
Wow.
Road leads in. So to get to the Davis Center, you have to walk through our marketplace on the weekends.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous. There's the center of it. So to say I've put together a really, really amazing cohort this first season, and my organization, Reverence Phoenix and Reverence Provisions, are one of the main anchor tenants. It is a standing lunch counter that serves a 3-course tasting menu, dead center of the marketplace under this massive elm tree. It's gorgeous. So the background is you've got the lake and the Davis Center, and you'll be able to sit out there and have this incredible New York afternoon. I mean,
Now, are you going to have some of your bread there?
I don't know, but here's the thing.
Well, I have to make a personal order because that's been bugging me now as it relates to all of the things that I'm learning about bread that I used to think was great. I was saying, how did I survive with all of this stuff?
I'm telling you. So the other anchor that we have is we've brought Norwich Meadow Farms on. Now, you may not recognize the name, but Norwich Meadow Farms is the small, it's not even small, they're a large bespoke farm. It's owned by a Palestinian family by way of California that grows all heirloom and organic products. They are slow food snail registered program. They do regenerative farming. They are top of the food chain. Every Michelin housed restaurant buys from them.
Wow.
When they write up a story about cabbage, it's Norwich Meadows cabbage. If they write up about potatoes, it's Norwich Meadows potatoes. It's always Norwich. So I've been friends with them for years, and they were the cornerstone to the program that we had at Reverence, and they were primary partner for us with our fermentation program. They were the easiest first call for me to make and say, hey, could you see doing this with us? Because they're at a couple of different markets. And they were grateful enough to say yes, because they see the vision. They understand the importance of what we can represent within Upper Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
We've got other members of the cohort like Swaying Pines, which is another little mom and pop bespoke farm. We've got Cheese, a cheesemonger from Brooklyn. We've got Jezebel's that's coming in from Philadelphia. We've got Little Mad, which is a buddy of mine, Saul Hahn, who was on America's Culinary Cup with me, who's going to make these killer sandwiches and Italian food. We've got Gestamos, which is a Bronx family-owned Italian import company. We've got Gracie's, who is Guinan Cuisine. We've got Sugar Hill Creamery. Oh yeah, gotta have my ice cream.
Now, did the park allocate base for parkings for your vendors? How is
So
that?
we
Because
have
parking is held
vendor
there.
parking. We've got all of the dynamic, all of the elements of things that were important for us to be able to operate a farmers market.
Right.
The parks and the Parks Department, DOT, NYC Parks, the Conservancy. Everybody got together with Richard cracking the whip and pulled it all together for us, for me to be able to say, here are the things that I need to make this function, and for them to fulfill those wishes. So all of them have been super generous in their time and their efforts to help us to pull this together, starting this weekend. And it's been a wonderful experience. Some of the things that, again, what we've been learning about the historic nature about what we're about to do, the fact that the entrance of the gate, which I didn't even know this, and it took me leaning up against it and going, what's this, to understand that we're actually at the farmer's gate. And the farmer's gate is all of the gates around Central Park. All the entrances are gates that are named for one thing or another. The farmer's gate was the very first named gate in 1862. We are next to that. We are at that entrance. The closest gate next to us is the last named gate that was named just a handful of years ago for the exonerated five. So again, we've got this interesting diametric, opposites pulling together. The fact that we're also on property land inside the park. We are within the confines of Seneca Village. And for those of you that don't know what Seneca Village is, Seneca Village was essentially the Beverly Hills of African American culture within the early 1800s, 1800s here in Harlem. It was one of the very first African American cities, and it was displaced by eminent domain to create Central Park. So again, the Conservancy doing the right thing and thinking about the history and thinking about the relevance of how all of this matters for us, for our people, for our culture, for our society. Those things are important for us to step up and say, okay, food and accessibility is probably one of the most important elements. Again, I live here. I cook good food. I want to cook high quality food. And for me to have to, and I always made this was the argument that I had about my restaurant. I didn't want to have to, living on 135th Street, get in a cab or a subway and travel 50 blocks to get a high quality meal, which is what I used to have to do until I opened my restaurant. There are some good restaurants, there are some great practitioners, and there are more now. But when we opened, there were very few and in between. They were either corporately backed or small mom and pop places that were buying from Cisco or U.S. Foods or things like that, and all of the food tastes all the same because it's all the same base product coming from the same mass manufacturing grocer. And it's just how they assembled it. It was the difference, the plate color that they put it on, but it's essentially all the same food. So for us, the importance of having that accessibility to the same products that I had to go all the way to Union Square or Brooklyn or downtown to get, or having to go all the way up to the Bronx directly to the loading docks, or going out to Hudson Valley to buy or Long Island to buy products from those farmers. And for me, again, as a Californian, having, whether I was Northern California or Southern California, farmers markets were always a key part to how we purchased for our operations and how I ate. And
how many vendors are you going to have?
The opening cohort is 16. Yeah. I'm really proud about that fact. And then we've got more that are in line, that during the season, as we get closer to the fall season, there may be one or two that may take a break, and then we've got others that'll step in. It's an evolving process, I think, for us this first year.
And it's every Saturday?
So it's every Saturday. Market opens at 10 a.m. and it closes technically at 7 p.m. Now that, again, in having discussions with all of the artisans and the food makers, and even for myself, it's like, well, how much do we bring? How many people are going to be there? We
Right.
all just don't know. So we're going to try to
Well, it's
bring
about
in the best
marketing too,
supply
but
that we can.
you're in an ideal space.
Yes, yes, we are.
People,
We're in an amazing. We're in a high
especially
traffic.
now because of the World Cup,
Yes,
people and
the park
Pride
is.
Week and
The park in
Juneteenth.
itself has amazing amount of activations between the World Concert and Shakespeare in the Park and Summer Stage and all of the different activations. But now we add another,
Layer. Yeah.
0.7 million people in the city on next Saturday because of the World Cup game, and the 7 to 10 million that are in the tri-state area because of the World Cup games. Is an excessive. Like, you can't get a hotel room to save your life right now, let alone an Airbnb. So so there are a lot of people that are here. So for us, it's a perfect storm of like opportunity to be able to maximize our effort and maximize our exposure so that people learn about what we do, because the idea isn't this isn't a one-off and we're going to pack it up and leave after the World Cup or at the end of the summer. We want this to be year round. We want this to be
And
there
how far into the
for our
fall will
culture
you
and for
be
our
at?
neighborhoods. I'm
How
sorry.
far into the fall will you go?
Well, that's an interesting idea. So we're slotted to only be there until the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the interesting thing about this year. This year, from all of the weather notifications and geologic surveys, is that this is going to be one of the most successive El Nino years in history. Now, an El Nino typically means that the West Coast takes an absolute beating, and the East Coast spends its days in the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that we may not have snow on the ground this year. And my idea is if the weather holds and we don't have snow on the ground, I'm going to keep asking every week for us to continue to do the work. So again, accessibility. And as we change and we grow, we add people on, we take people off. It all depends on how the farmers are doing, what their accessibility is. Norwich in itself has become such a large farm, and they had a massive tragedy this last year where a large section of their farm and their warehouses and their trucks burned down from an accident. So they've been rebuilding this year, and they're rethinking their infrastructure and how they're expanding. We're very fortunate that we get to have them this year because they could have just told me, look, we're still rebuilding, talk to us next year. But they were kind enough to join on and be that anchor tenant for us. So they have high tunnels, so they grow year round. Plus, they'll also warehouse a tremendous amount of material that they grow. So there will be accessible products. Again, it turns towards root vegetables and things like that, and cabbages, but they do.
Which is what I wanted
stuff.
you to give a taste of, if not as much as you can, as to what type of fresh produce. Will it be vegetables? Will it be fruits?
It's all of the above. So Norwich for the restaurateurs, Norwich puts out their master list of all the things that are at the market,
right,
and stuff that are accessible to chefs, and then stuff that the chefs can't get because they're only going to sell it at market. That list during the winter is maybe 1 or 2 pages. Right now, it's 8 pages. And by the time the season gets at its height, it'll be closer to 12 pages long. Like single space, there's so much stuff that they sell, and that they keep expanding every year. There's again, they go out, they get heirloom seeds from the Middle East to Italy, to like all around the world. They source these really amazing heirloom seeds, and then they grow squash, zucchini, tomatoes. Right now, I'm hoping to get strawberries from them on Friday for our service on Saturday. They grow kusa squash, which is Haifa, who is the matriarch of the family. It's her family's heirloom squash. It is one of my all-time favorites. So as soon as it comes online, you'll see it on our menu.
And all of this is organic.
All of it's organic. They are snail certified. So Slow Food Snail is the organic certification that's here on the East Coast, where on the West Coast it's called CCOF. But they are certified organic and regenerative. So again, they think about how the growing patterns, what fields they use, how they use the different fields, how they cycle the different produce to get the best out of the earth, but also to allow the farm itself to continue to sustain and live. They have lettuce this week. The cucumbers are coming online this week. They've got green garlic, Tokyo leeks, spring onion, like it's insane. And then Swain Pines is a little tiny farm that we have. She grows Aleppo chilies, and she's got a handful of other things that she grows. She's a single owned, woman owned farm that's just got a little plot of land that she's going to be growing for us primarily, almost exclusively, I think, but with the quantities that we have. And then we've got a couple of other farmers that we may bring in that are from the other seasons, like Gonzalez Farm that we've talked with that we might bring back. And we're hoping that they kind of pull their things together. Letterbox will come in again, like I said, in the fall. They're up in the Hudson Valley. They grow a handful of different things, but they also grow and raise pigs. So they have a great animal husbandry program that we'll be able to bring along. My program, Phoenix, we'll have Phoenix, but Provisions, which is our fermentation customer-based program. We have different sundries and products that, again, in thinking about how can we provide a better health and quality-driven, accessible products that we believe in. For me, at my age, at 62, there's only I have to be very cautious about the things that I eat on a regular basis. I was one of those people that I ate anything all the time, and I still do but it's like, okay, what's the price of admission for how many Zantac am I going to take for that tonight?
Well, I can let you know that I'm a Juneteenth baby. I'll be 79, but I just
awesome
came out of a period where I had an infection in my colon. And it's interesting because, there's a yin and yang and everything, but
yeah.
I understand that over the years, and I kind of knew something was going to happen because I kept saying to myself, I can't continue to eat this stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that I'm eating.
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't eating meat, but I was, eating things that, was not necessarily what I was supposed to eat.
Right.
Because I would read the labels and I said, damn, I know, but I've been eating this all my life.
Well, there are things that, for just an example, is a prime example. So we eat a lot of rice in this house, whether it's short grain or Carolina Gold, which is an heirloom rice that almost went out of extinction, or other things like that, whether it's legumes or, we try to eat a lot of that because it's good for us. It's healthier for my son. My son loves it. We do it in a lot of different versions. I couldn't, and I've talked about this online and stuff, where you think about the fact that let's take Lundgren's as just one primary example. That Lundgren's had a massive, had a massive recall here just recently, a matter of weeks ago. Lundgren recalled millions of pounds of rice that was on the shelf. Why did they recall that much rice? It was found to have had ground glass in it. Now, for me, you have to think to yourself, at what point do you introduce glass into the rice preparation process that it ends up in the bag? Well, I didn't want to know. But okay, fine. I'm no longer buying Lundgren's because again,
and it is unfortunate because a lot of people probably did not know that or don't know that.
It's in every store. It's in every small house or small store in Harlem.
Yeah.
And again, people are under this misguided interpretation that it is a quality product. No, it's not. So many of these different, again, it's like the truth is starting to come out there in the respect that you Trader Joe's isn't a health market.
It's not.
That's so many of these different manufacturers and these brands that 42 million pounds of frozen fried rice got recalled. because it had salmonella, or every week there's some form of recall. So sourcing your materials and having a better understanding of like where it's coming from, that tangible, real clarity of transparency
It's very
is so important for us, for our
and
culture.
every time I guess I curse things like TikTok and some of those other things, but I'm addicted to it too because every day I'm saying, I can't eat that. What hurt me was Hershey's. I mean, I used to love her. They're telling me that's not chocolate anymore.
There's that adage, again, I have a 7-year-old, so I'm talking with all of the other parents. And again, this was that thing that led to our provisions, led to the aspect of our provisions line. We have a box service that actually starts in the market on July 4th. That's part of our system where we'll curate materials from all of the different vendors, and we'll have a market box that we'll make available.
That's great. That's a great idea.
They can order it online now in anticipation. They can subscribe to it.
What's the online site?
So for our program to make reservations and or to get into the box service, you go to reverencephoenix.com. That leads you to all roads. So from there, you can go to provisions, you go to provisions boxes, you can make reservations for the standing restaurant, or you can just walk up and hope that there's availability, and we'll slip you in when we can.
Very interesting.
But the thing being is, I'm talking to my friends within my community within our school, and I was saying, like, I can't eat regular tomato sauce anymore, so I went out and sourced a small mom and pop tomato program that I knew I could eat myself, and that was high quality. So I found one in California, and I went to the trouble of had it shipped out here, and then from there I can resell it at low cost to all of the people within my small school community. We ended up, and we are a strategic partner now with Mosh Hen Mill, which is based out of the Carolinas. Again, they're a small family organization that's been growing grains for centuries, and they in turn made sure that they kept the real strain of Carolina gold rice. Has brought it back from extinction. If it makes it here in time, we'll have it for sale at Phoenix or at Provisions this weekend. But we'll also be utilizing their conch peas in one of the dishes that we're going to do, which are really brilliant. But I made like a refried bean out of their red beans a couple of weeks ago. That was unbelievable.
You're getting me hungry now.
So, and again, these things are, we want to pass on this information and pass on the access to all of these goods. I want people to be able to come to Phoenix and eat, taste the food that we're doing, and to say, God, that was really good. Well, I would love to know how to make that. Well, okay, fine. You go right next door here and you grab this from them, and you go over to the cheese lady and you get that cheese, and you buy our soyu or our seasoning or whatever, and that's how you put it together. And again, we want to be able to give people this kind of access and real-time information, as well as have them have the ability to be able to be educated in how to do this for themselves at home. I mean, the thing that I'm a board member of a charity based out of the South Bronx called WEDCO, which is the Women's Health Education Development Company, and we have a really cool small business incubator and shared kitchen space, and they have after school programs, and we have all kinds of really, really unique and wonderful things there. And every year I usually go up and I cook for the housing, the elements of different housing units. And one of the great things is my son, one of the really, really great things is I get to watch kids try food that they grow in their community gardens for the very first time. So I made this watermelon and radish salad, and to watch a 5 or 6 year old eat a radish for the very first time in their life, and their eyes light up and go, "Oh my God, Mom, can I have more of this?" It's like those, for me, that's everything. That is everything. So for us to be able to do that, and we did a program at Reverence where we called Pay It Forward, where our guests could donate for us to be able to invite people within the local community or students or people in need to come in and sit down and dine at our restaurant. And we entertained quite a few different people and quite a few different families, which was really great. And a lot of the times we really earmarked it to have children come in with their parents to be able to have an experience, a fine dining experience, to be able to sit at a table and dine and be walked through an entire meal just like any adult would. And I have so many success stories. I've been doing this program within all of my restaurants since the early 2000s, and the children that are now adults, that are exceptional adults from having had exposure to better food. I am so proud of them, and two of them have gone on to work for me while they were going to college. And I mean, it's just, those are the types of things that I really, really love and enjoy. And that's in large part why we're doing this work, why I continue to do this work. It's always been about this.
So, Chef, you have, besides making me hungry, given a very good outline as to what's to come this summer, every Saturday from 10 to 7 at 110th Street in Central Park.
And I would be remiss without saying, so Team Unity is between the Central Park Conservancy, Reverence Hospitality Group, which is my division, which is oversight or not oversight, but the curator and the functioning group of the program. But Team Unity, which is the backbone, Richard Cox, they are the mindset that helped instigate all of this. And we're really grateful to be working with Richard. The thing that I want to say that is so important for us now, Team Unity is a nonprofit. And the bike race that's coming up this weekend, which I don't know how he's going to manage.
And I was just getting ready to say on the 21st, the Father's Day bike race is coming up.
Poor man is going to he's going to look like a spinning top on Monday.
We're also working with the Congo because they're doing some things with you guys. Plus, they will have a concert. There's a group that will have a concert on the 21st. And on the 30th, they're coming to the Renaissance Hotel, the Marriott, at a Harlem Tourism Board meeting to talk about an ongoing relationship that's going to take place.
That's awesome.
And then Harlem Week is right around the corner. So.
Right around the corner. So one of the things that I really, really wanted to say is that this is a very different climate. It is a very different year that we're all living through.
Yeah.
And the program that we've put together, the program that Unity Market is and why it exists is very important. What we've tried to do is to institute and create a system that can grow. And we need money to help it to grow. Now, in most years, Richard's able to access grants and programs and banks and things like that have always put money aside for this program, have always been able to put money into it. This is the first year in quite a few years where it has not occurred. None of the funding that we normally would expect it has come through, which has been quite difficult for us. On top of the fact that it's just, it's a difficult time. So I'm saying to the community, I'm saying to anybody that'll listen right now, it doesn't matter if it's $10, $100.
Where do they go? How do they go to your website?
You go to teamunityinc.org /donate. Team Unity Inc.org /donate. And we'll also have that link this evening on the Unity Market website, which I have to do. So
that's Unity.
I'll be doing right after I leave here. But
UnityMarketNYC.org.
So that leads you to all roads that are, and it shows now. It'll show this evening. It'll refresh, and it'll show all the new vendors and everything and it's the way that you'll be able to stay in touch with us. There's a lot of activation that's going to occur over the next week, and
we need to, and I'll talk with Richard. Actually, I'm going to send him a copy of this, but we need to have some sort of social media marketing notice so that people can continually see what's going on.
We've got it. Just point to us, and I'm telling you, it's all coming out.
Right. So send me what you have. Richard should be doing it, but
yes.
Now that we've talked, there are a number of things that now that we have developed a relationship that I'm going to talk to you about. One, and I'll go with this. I am now my project, Celeste Beatty. Have you ever heard of the Harlem Brew?
I have, and I think that Richard might have mentioned it to me this morning. There
are a couple of things that we're working on. One, to begin to look at finding Whole Foods has carried it, but we want to try to make it local, find ways to let people be able to appreciate it without having to buy a whole case. And two, looking for a space in Harlem to do some things. So if you know anyone who is crazy enough that they're having a restaurant or would like to have some sort of partner, the Harlem Brew is there. We're also developing a focus in Ghana to.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
To do that. So we'll be talking, obviously. This is great news. But I'll be looking for bread. So any of your vendors, you should tell them.
We've got a small, and I'm again, I didn't mention everybody that's coming, but we have Artisanal Bakery by Jessica Craig, and she's brilliant, and we'll be bringing her sourdough breads and some other stuff, and there's a lot of really, really cool people that are going to be at the market offering a wide range of really cool stuff.
And I'm sure that there are stories that could be told, and hopefully over the summer, through either WHCR or Soul City, other vendors can be talked about as to what they're doing, and we could service. My good friend Robin Bell is on the board of directors. She's the curator of the Jasmine Bill, but she's on the board of directors of the Central Park Conservatory. So,
That's awesome. Well, come on down. We'll see you this weekend. If not, every other Saturday we'll be there.
Every other Saturday or every
Saturday? Every Saturday between now and the snow drops.
Okay. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be talking to you, and you can probably see the CBS show on YouTube to see some of the things that you've had to go through. And I'm sure that this summer will be an interesting time. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. And that brings this show to, and there's so much stuff that's going on. I have to talk with Matt, to see how much time over the summer we'll be able to have the Urbanology show on. Matt is another busy guy doing a number of things, but with so much that's happening, I'm sure that there are a lot of things that we would like to bring to people who are not always exposed to certain types of projects. And that's one of the beauties of Soul City Network or WHCR or Harlem Community News. It allows for us to put a focus on people, places, and things that have a direct relationship to us. So again, I would like to thank the Soul City crew for providing the platform. And don't forget the 19th, Juneteenth, which is my birthday. So whenever you celebrate Juneteenth now, it's a national birthday. You could think about Tony Rogers. The other thing is on the 20th, the opening of the Unity Farmers Market. There's so many things, but in the 21st, Marcus Garvey Park, that's the 121st Street, they're starting. It's around the park. There are races all day, and around 4 o'clock, a wonderful concert. So this is going to be an interesting time. I probably will watch the Tickle Tech parade on TV, but it should be interesting. I think that the weather will hold up. But the Knicks have brought a great deal of joy in New York City. And as I said before, that energy hopefully will be a good start of the summer because thousands and thousands of people uh, were happy. And there's a saying is that when large numbers of people express joy, it's contagious. So let's hope that this summer will express the tip off of what has taken place miraculously over the last couple of weeks. But again, we all are looking to be blessed based on the fact that we are here. And when you wake up, everything else is gravy. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, signing off, and hopefully, God willing, we'll be seeing you soon. Take care.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3